Good evening, world. Welcome to Juice Word Podcast, episode 57. Stay in control. We're going to have a deep conversation tonight, y'all. Let's go ahead and tap in. Let's do our thing. I appreciate all the love and support y'all been giving me on this journey, but we're going to go ahead and dive in. Episode 57, stay in control. So, authority and presence. We have to think about when you think about everybody wanting control. Everybody wants control over everything that comes in and out of their life. Everybody wants control. Most people lose control the moment they get tested, though. So it's always cool that you can have control when things are nice, but when things are not going the way you wanted to go, you lose control. But that's the problem. You don't lose control by accident. You lose control when you let your emotions make your decisions for you. So that's one thing that we have to work on is controlling our emotions. We have to understand that sometimes we can't make a temporary decision. We can't make a decision off of temporary emotions. We can't do that. That'll give us a longevity time to realize that, dang, I shouldn't have reacted like that. I shouldn't have handled that like that. But we're talking about staying in control. That's more tapping into your discipline. That's more tapping into you understanding, hey, this is what I need to do. This is my weaknesses in my life. This is what I need to do to be able to control myself, to be able to succeed, to reach the goals that I set for myself. That's what it's all about staying in control. And we're talking about real control. We're not talking about like controlling people. We're not talking about controlling outcomes, because I'm a firm believer, and I've said it before, if you followed me and tapped into my lives, I've said it before, you can do the action, but you can't control the outcome. You can make your decision like, hey, I'm going to go downtown to this club tonight, but you don't know what's going to happen while you're at the club. You see what I'm saying? If that's not a good enough analogy, you know. When you make decisions, you have to make business decisions. It might not be, you like, I don't like that decision, but I like this decision, but that's the better decision. So you make that decision. Even when you make the right decision on anything in your life that you're planning to do, to take care of, to be responsible about, it's always going to be some type of opposition somewhere. Something's always going to, kind of like get you off schedule or something like that. But always remember, it's always good to stay grounded in your spiritual mindset and emotional intelligence to know that, okay, look, I'm on this path. This is just another test. But this is about controlling you, me, you, Facebook, TikTok, controlling you. This is about controlling you, stay in control of you. No matter how hard the test gets, no matter what goes on, you have to stay in control where you can think clearly and you can move strategically into nice, in a nice safe environment where you can kind of, sometimes you have to move a certain way. You can't just go and just act and move how you want to act and move. You have to, like I said, it's chess, not checkers. But yeah, this is about controlling you. It's not about outcomes. It's not about controlling people. It's about controlling you. And this is the illusion of control. This is the illusion of control. People try to control how people act. Like I said, how situations play out. You know what I'm saying? How life unfolds. And we've all done that. We've all been in that lane where we're trying to do everything we can to control everything around us until we lose control and we don't know how to handle it. But that's the thing. We try to worry about things that we can't control. And that's the bad part. And every time they put us back in a state of frustration, chaos, and anger, we be pissed. We do. We do for real. And that's when we try to control everything. Like Bruce Lee said, we have to be like water. You have to flow with life and roll with the punches of life, because nothing is promised. Nothing is guaranteed to stay but our faith. That's the only thing that we have to hold on to. So in the midst of that, we have to understand that we have to relinquish control and just trust God and just walk by faith and not by sight. I know it's not so much of a popular statement, but sometimes we have to. He said, lean on his understanding and not our own. So when we leaning on his understanding and not our own, we're going to listen and receive our discernment to make a move on whatever aspect of your life you're making a move on. And you have to follow, move how God tell you to move. And you can't worry about what the challenges going to come. You just got to stay focused on him. Like I said last week, when Peter wanted to get off the boat and walk to Jesus. As long as he kept his eyes on Jesus, he was walking on water, right? But as soon as he took his eyes off the prize, what happened? He started drowning. And he asked everybody around that time, what did he ask them? Will your faith make you whole? You have to believe. You have to know. We have to understand that we have to have a belief and understanding that, hey, no matter what goes on in my life, I can see where God has brought me from. Hey, now I know I've accomplished this and I've conquered all these obstacles, man. It's nothing I can't be. What am I scared of? What am I scared for? I know what God has done. He's always showed it for me back against the wall. And that's the type of control we have to have. That's the type of discipline and faith we have to have. It's hard. It's not easy. It's definitely hard. Definitely hard. So yes, the illusion of control. The illusion is that people feel like they really can control other situations and how their life unfolds. And every time it don't go their way. Like I said, frustration, anger, and chaos. Frustration, anger, and chaos. Because you build your peace on things you can't control. You can't build your peace on what your bank account look like. You can't build your peace on if you having a good relationship with your significant other. You can't build your peace on, hey, I got all my bills paid this month. You can't build your peace on, hey, I got a really good job. You can't even build your peace on that. Because those things are external. You have to build your peace on things that are internal. And I think we tend to miss that sometimes. And there's nothing wrong with having nice things. Don't get me wrong. But sometimes we put our faith in too much of those nice things instead of ourselves. Because the things don't make us. We make the things look good. Right? Right? I hope everybody feel that way. I pray y'all feel that way too, for real though. Because we make the things look good. The things don't make us. We make them. Everything that we have in us is what we need to succeed in anything that God has set for us. We just have to tap into our purpose. Get in alignment. Seek ye the kingdom of God. That's how you continue to keep your focus and your discipline no matter what's going on. Like you won't be wavered. You won't be fazed by anything. You'll be able to move circumspect. You'll be like you're dodging raindrops. You will. You'll be able to pull back and not get caught up in the hype and be able to move and focus on the things you need to focus on to push yourself to the next level in order to be, like I said, a better husband, a better father, a better dad, a better sibling, a better friend, just a better you, period. That's what it's all about. And if your peace depends on trying to control something, you'll never have peace. Trying to control everything around you, the environment, is like trying to control an algorithm or trying to control a trend. It's always changing. It's always changing. You got to be able to stick to you no matter what the trend is, no matter what's popular. You got to stand in what's you. Who are you? That's why I said you have to be in control. You can't be influenced. You can't get knocked off your pivot. You got to stay locked in. But you can't control everything around you. But what you can control your thoughts. You can control your reactions to negativity. You can control your discipline and your consistency on everything that you want to do. Whatever you have a dream of, everybody has something in the back of their mind that they dream of and they want to do. And they just like, man, I want to do it, but is this possible? And, you just question it because you like, maybe I'm just tripping, but, but what if that's the thing that you're supposed to do? So how would you acquire that? Of course, you gotta be delusional about the things that you want for your life. You have to be delusional. There's no other way. If you don't believe in you, who's going to believe in you? If you don't love you, who's going to love you? Only thing we need to do is to love who God made us to be. Accept who you are. Accept the things that you've done wrong. Stand up and be like, hey, that's me. I did that. Life happens. But, you live, you learn. That's the father of learning, repetition. You learn through situations and experiences. Life is one big experience. We should observe it, not absorb it. Let things run its course. What's meant to happen is going to happen. And you have to be like water and roll with the punches. You have to. If you don't, can't go against the grain. You got to go with the flow. But a lot of people, they try to control, everybody else's thoughts. But we have to control, our thoughts. When they say speak life, you speak life by just thinking positive about yourself, how you feel about yourself, how you carry yourself in the morning, the energy you give off. That's speaking life and death right there. If you're not giving off a positive vibe and giving off positive energy, it's giving, that's speaking death. You can speak death without speaking, without opening your mouth. Then we have to realize that. It's, like I said, it's the law of attraction. What you put out is going to come back to you. That's a real law. And we have to govern ourselves, because even that small thought in the back of your mind that you be like, Lord, forgive me for that thought. We've all had that moment. That's the thought that'll get you set up to mess you up for failure, because, you speak in death. We have to be careful when we joke, when we say certain things. Oh, I'm broke. We can't even say we broke no more. That's speaking into our life too. We have to be careful. We can speak everything that happened in our life. That's why it's so important that we stay in control of ourselves and govern our emotions, because everything that we have in our life, the things that's happened dramatically, is because we spoke it into existence. We allowed that to happen to our life. We have to take accountability for the part that we played in those things. So when you change your mindset, you'll have a better life. And that's what it's all about. It's all about your mindset. That's definitely what it's all about. And a lot of us, we've all been to the point where we can't even control that. We wake up reacting. We wake up and move off of emotions. I remember those days, man. It was no peace in those days. You speak without thinking, just off of raw emotion, not even much listening to understand, comprehend. You just listening to respond. And that comes with maturity, that comes with experience in life. Because we was always young at some point in time and act like we knew everything. We always kind of did. We kind of started smelling ourselves at a young age, and we kind of went away from the wisdom that was given. We wanted to find our own path. We wanted to be tough and run out there and do what we wanted to do. But that's all about growth. That's all about learning. That's what it's all about. Because once you put in that work to really improve yourself and focus on yourself and the things that's great for you, everything else will fall in place. You won't be able to be wavered by, oh, we getting laid off today. You're like, man, Lord, I'm trusting you with this. We're going to keep on pushing. We're not going to worry about that. Like, you have to be able to be unfazed in this world. You have to be unfazed. Because if y'all see what's going on the news, man. Anything going on, y'all get distracted and caught up in all of that, man, you'll never have no peace. You'll never be able to focus on what you need to focus on. That's why you gotta unplug from that TV, man. You gotta unplug from it. You gotta take a step back sometimes. Because sometimes you can get caught up in the hype and realize, like, man, I'm wasting my energy on this. I can waste my time on this. I could have been doing something else. I could have been reading a book or doing something I love, something that I could probably do that could help me in anything I could possibly love doing. Like, if you like reading books, if you like, writing poetry or something like that, you can pour into something that's going to raise your awareness. That's what it's all about. And the trigger tested, this is what a lot of people fail, because we get triggered by disrespect, being misunderstood, being ignored. Because I know I've even reacted, when I got mad, but that's because I wasn't on my pivot. I was slipping. I was. Some stuff is not excusable. But you know what, though? It felt good when I snapped. I ain't gonna even lie. I ain't gonna even lie. It felt good when I went off. But at the same time, though, sometimes, it feel good, but sometimes you still need to be able to control your emotions. You still have to control your emotions. You still have to. Even if you're offended, even if they are being disrespectful, even if you are being misunderstood, even if you are being lied on, even if you are being targeted, even if you are being hated on, even if you are being, I guess, game stalked in a sense. I mean, that's life. And I don't want to waste my time, waste my energy on anyone, and I'm not focusing on me. If I waste my energy worrying about what somebody else doing, how can I improve myself? That's my thought process. That's my mindset. I've always thought like that. But yes, when we're disrespected, when we're misunderstood, and when we're ignored, that's when we lose control. That's when we get triggered. And now that's when your emotions be like, hey, we need to go ahead and end this now. Because your inner voice, man, listen, your inner voice be like, man, say something. You ain't gonna say nothing? Man, if you don't react to that, man, don't let that slide. You can let that go. That's the inner voice talking to you when you're trying to stay in control and avoid conflict sometimes. Sometimes you have to avoid conflict, and sometimes conflict is good. Don't get me wrong. Now, conflict is good. We have to have conflict. You have to have conversations. You have to talk about things that are good. You have to talk about things that you don't like and your true and raw emotion behind it. There is peace and gain and clarity. You move and adjust differently. Right. Facts. Yes. That's what I said. Once you get to that point where you have that level of peace where you flow like water, you gonna worry about things you can't control. When you can't control things, then the only thing you can control is your thoughts. Like I said, your energy you give and your actions. That's all you can control. And that's where your discipline comes in. That's when your focus comes in. That's what I said. It's so much. We all get caught up in the hype sometimes with social media, with things of this world, man. Like just throwing us and getting us distracted off of what's important, what we need to be focused on. And so that's why, man, like, be careful what you take in. Like I said, hear no evil, speak no evil, you know what I'm saying, see no evil. And you have to really be careful what you're taking in your experience and what you're taking in your biofield and your soul, like what you listen to. Because there's so much, it's a lot of lies and a lot of negativity out here. So you got to be aware. You got to stay on your pivot. Stay on 10 about it. But when you haven't reached that level of peace, you wake up reacting, you move off emotion, then you speak without thinking. And then you wonder why your life feel out of control. You have to understand what's the reason why it's out of control. And you have to take a look at yourself in the mirror and be like, hey, I'm attracting my life. Everything happened to us is what we attracted. We spoke that. We put the energy into it, our mindset. That was the frequency we was on. That's why it happened. And once you realize that, you understand, like, man, it's so important. Time is so valuable. Life is so short. Life is not as long as we were presumed and told that it was. No. And your time is limited on the decisions that you're making. Time is limited on the decisions that you're making. You continue to make the correct decisions. You choosing peace and you choosing to do things that's aligned with God, what He wants you to do. You're gonna have a lot of joy and a lot of time to get things right. And God's gonna fast forward your life out of discipline and sheer obedience. One act of obedience and discipline will fast forward your life 5 or 6 years. And that's the truth. So when we're making our decisions, that's expanding our life. You conquered something in 5 years that God gave you would have took you 10 by yourself. So that's fast forward your life. So that's, it's expanding your life, your lifespan. So it's so important that, like I said, it's so important that we get aligned, man. It's very important that we have to stay in control, and you have to understand that when you're on your journey to better yourself, everything is going to come against you. Anything from traffic to kids, to significant other, to your job, whatever, anything that's trying to pull a negative image out of you, that's a distraction. And that's because you're walking on the right path. You're on the right path. So you have to be able to be aware to the level where you can see what's coming before it gets to you. And that's very important. That's what I said, praying for discernment and peace and wisdom. Praying for wisdom is the best thing you can pray for. That's the best thing you can pray for. And then don't just pray for it, but then do things that's going to help enlighten yourself. Like pick up a few books that you're interested in, that you have questions about, something that's interesting to you. Pick up a good read, man. Pick up a good book. Like, I've been on this book reading journey, and it's, man, like, I love it, man. I ain't even call you. Like, I'm looking for me some more books now I can buy off of Amazon to read. Man, listen. We'll talk about the books later, though. We'll have a conversation about my favorite books I done read so far. And I done read some pretty good ones. Like, it's been some really good high conscious books, though. Like, it's pretty dope. But, yeah. You feel like that emotion coming out when somebody disrespects you, make you feel a way, be like, man, say something, man, don't let them slide with that. But that's just your impulse. That's not power. That's not, man, that's something that you don't want to do. Because sometimes we can avoid a lot of things by just, you know what, let me go on back out of here. Let me go and get up out of here. Like, sometimes that's the best thing to do, because at the end of the day, man, you got to go home to your wife and your kids, man. It's no point. You ain't got nothing to prove. And there's a lot of people out who got something to prove. So, to just be mindful, be understanding. You got to understand and read the room, read the energy. Be mindful of where you at, what type of time you on. Be aware of your surroundings. Always be aware. It's so important because, times are crazy now. You can't get comfortable nowhere. You can't even be comfortable in your own home for real, Y'all done heard the news. Y'all done seen what happens sometimes. But yeah, your first reaction is your instinct. Your second response is identity. Because we're going to break it down. Because when you think about it, the second time after, first time something happened, you snapping. So that's your instinct to bite back. Like, that's your instinct. But your second thought, when after you sit down and really think about it, you start breaking it down. You can pause, you can breathe, and you choose your response. You have to have that awareness. That's why I say you have to have that awareness, even when that is happening and it's so fast. You have to be able to break that down in your mind and decipher, is this worth it? Is this something, this is just another test, this is going to distract me from what I was supposed to have been doing? Because I was focused on something, but I'm totally off course right here. But, it's all about how you want to respond to it. Because sometimes, energy is so important. And we waste so much time and energy giving it to people. And if you're not going to be consistent and conservative with your time and your energy, that's just showing how much you love yourself. You have to love yourself enough to understand that some arguments, some conversations ain't even worth having. Like, what? No. Like, sometimes it's just best to, silence is sometimes it's the best response to just be like, let me just stay focused on this. I ain't even finna acknowledge this. Let me just keep on going. Like, sometimes it's best to be like that. And I know some people are like, oh, that's soft. Yeah, some conflict is good conflict, but some conflict is a distraction to knock you off the pivot. Like I told you, Peter was trying to get to Jesus off that boat. And what happened? He got distracted. He took his mind off the prize for 1 second and he started sinking. Ye of oh little faith. Remember I said, well, your faith make you whole. When you in your storm trying to get on that boat and God telling you to come on, are you going to stay focused on him? Man, listen, we got to have them blinders up. Got to have that tunnel vision. You have to. People don't realize the power is sustaining and walking away right. Yeah, that's basically what it is. Because a lot of times that's just a test to get your energy. It throws you off. It throws your focus off. It throws your drive off. It really does. So you have to really be careful. Because I know God's still working on me in that area of my life, y'all. You know, sometimes some stuff just be too much. Some stuff just be too much. I ain't gonna even wanna hold you. Some stuff just be like, man. I'll be like, Lord, forgive me. I be trying to do better. Lord knows He working on me though. He's still working on me. Yeah. But yeah, a lot of time, even when it comes to our relationships, we're gonna talk about controlling relationships right now. That's some other segment of notes I jotted down. We're gonna talk about controlling relationships. The things that you can't control in relationships. The things that you can't control in relationships. We're going to talk about that now. Right. Appreciate that. I appreciate it, man. Listen, I'm telling you, it's a lot of wisdom in reading. There's a lot of wisdom in reading isolated, I'm telling you. But controlling relationships, man. You can't control your partner, their emotions, and their timing. And we have to understand that everybody is made differently. Everybody comes from different regions. Everybody comes from different backgrounds. Everybody comes from different ideologies. You may have another mindset of what love is to you. It may be different from mine, or what respect is, or what's acceptable, or what's fine and what's not. It's so many different small tedious things that go into a person's makeup and how their family raised them about a subject, or how your family raised you about a subject. We have to take that into account when we're dating, when we're entertaining, when we're marrying, when we're moving in. Like all of those things that come in relationships, like you have to really think about that. And you have to give each other a limited amount of grace if that's what you want to do. Because you can't control your partner. You can't control how they feel about things. You can't control their response and their timing on things, how you feel like they should be on point. You know, y'all, that schedule, no, that ain't going to work all the time. It's not. But you can control how you show up, how you can communicate, and how you respond under pressure. You can't govern how they're going to do it, but it's how you're going to respond. Because no matter what's going on, you're going to have to be like, you know what? I could be petty and I could stoop down to this level, but I've grown so much, I'm not there anymore. So let me handle this like this. Let me handle this in a healthy way so I can make sure that we cover all angles in every situation when we talk about something. We converse, when we have a good conversation in a relationship. We're going to have a deep conversation, uncomfortable conversations. It's going to be uncomfortable, but we're going to talk, you know. It has to be a 24-hour communication log. It has to be. You have to be able to have that communication, no matter how hard it is, how uncomfortable it is. You have to take accountability for everything that you do, everything that you say, even your ideology. Because a lot of times we carry things that don't even belong to us, man. It's just generational curses. A lot of stuff we be carrying don't even belong to us, man. And that's why it's so important. Like I said, we seek ye the kingdom of God and we put that burden on him. Because a lot of stuff you be like, I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask for this, Lord. What is this? I didn't ask for this. But you know, you just take it on the chin and be like, okay, let's go. Like, I know that it gets to a point that when you in control of your life and like you mastering your mornings, like I master my mornings, get up in the morning, you know, you meditating, you working out, whatever you do to get your morning started, you taking your ownership of your day in your hands and you like, okay, I'm going to make sure I have a good day today. I'm not going to leave it up to chance of what's going on around me. I'm going to know I have a good day every day. I'm going to make sure I have a good day every day. So when you take that ownership every day of your life, like that's when you realize you be like, some stuff ain't even worth your energy, man. Like I'm doing good. Like I done got up this morning, worked out, I done read a book, man. You know what I'm saying? had coffee with babe, you know what I'm saying? Had coffee with the wife, had coffee with the husband, you know, like when they ate lunch with babe, you know what I'm saying? Like you controlling your day and you're not letting the chance of what's going on around you affect it. Like that's very important for us to stay in control. And that's how, while you govern your emotions, you protect your peace at all costs. Like, most relationships fail because it's not from lack of love. Lack of love is not the reason why relationships fail. It's not the love part. It's the lack of emotional control, because it's not emotional intelligence being involved in anything that's going on. You have to be able to converse about your emotions and be open and be transparent and vulnerable, but no one wants to be transparent and vulnerable. So that's where the problem always lies. Like, we have to take accountability. In a relationship, it takes accountability. Because the person's supposed to be your mirror. Your husband, your wife, they're supposed to be your mirror. Y'all supposed to look at each other and be like, I see me. You're supposed to love yourself enough to where when you love that person, you love them like you love yourself. That's how it's supposed to be. We can't control how things go. All you can do is show up and have pure intentions. It's all about your intentions and how you showing up. No matter how I presume, you can show up with the purest intentions, and the outcome is not what you expected it to be. Because I know we've all been through moments like that. We've all been through moments like that. But at the same time, you stand on 10. You stand 10 toes down no matter what's going on. You stand on business on your decision. Whatever decision you make, you stand on business behind. You reinforce and let you know this is who I am, this is where I am, this is where I stand. And it's okay. Establish a way of communication to where everybody's emotions are being recognized. You are seen, you are heard, you're understood. That's why it's so important. The more you work on yourself, the more you will be able to pour into your relationship in order to be able to be confident enough to talk about the things that bother you the most. To be confident in the part of the things like, you know what, yeah, I messed up. That's my bad. Let me correct that. And go ahead about your day. You know what I'm saying? Like, that takes a lot of control and a lot of discipline. And that's how you keep control. That's why I say it's so important that we do the shadow work. Like I made a reel yesterday. Shadow work is so important. The trauma that we've experienced in our life as children, and the things that we struggle with now has stemmed all the way back to when we were children. You have to be able to tap into that and to understand, dang, why am I feeling like this? What caused this emotion? Why do I run from this? Why is this my weakness? And you have to trace it back to what caused this issue in order for you to recognize, okay, this is my weakness. So what can I do to repair this? So we all have to do the shadow work, because that's the only way you can be able to stay in control, because you have to know who you are and who God made you to be. That's what it's all about. So when you understand that, that's when things becomes a little bit more easier. It becomes a little bit more easier. If you can't control yourself, you'll try to control others. That's why it's so important. We have to make sure we have emotional intelligence and have grace for one another when it comes to relationships on all levels. Men and women, we have to have grace for one another, because nobody's perfect. Nobody's going to get it right. And everybody needs grace to grow. And y'all can meet each other in the middle. That's what it's all about. It's all about two-way communication. It's all about everything being in unison. You can't control them. All you can do is just love them and show up for them and be intentional and be transparent and be vulnerable in everything that you do. And this is just somebody that you love, no matter who it is, whatever type of relationship it is. Love is what love does. Love is work. Love is a commitment. Love is a choice. You have to choose to love this person every day. You have to choose to show up. You have to choose to improve yourself. That's what that's all about. And we missed the mark on that so much, man, because look at the type of love and relationship they push on us in the public. Man, if I hear another thing about God doggone Meg and Clay, I promise you I'm deleting everything. Obsolete, delete, self-destruct, everything, every app. But we can't get caught up in that, because you'll start taking on that ideology to think that that's how it's supposed to be. But everybody, you're supposed to decide what works for you. What's your love? What does love mean to you? What do you identify love as? What do you identify a relationship as? What do you identify peace as? What do you identify as success? Not what the world tells you, but what do you identify within your soul? What do you feel like that is? You see what I'm saying? What do you feel like that is? Things are being pushed for us to lose control and take on the ideology of the block of this is what love is, this is what success is, this is how it's supposed to look. But that's not true, because success is when you wake up every day, you have a loved ones in your house, you have kids at home with you. That's success, and that's love, and that's riches, and that's wealth right there in itself. If you can't appreciate that level, that basic foundation, you're not going to appreciate when God starts blessing you with things, then he adds you and he makes you successful, because you have to remember where you came from. You have to establish that foundation. That's why it's so important that we stay in control. Don't lose sight of your goals. Don't lose sight of the purpose. Don't lose sight of what works for you and your family. Forget a 50-50 conversation. We having a 100-100 conversation, because if I'm giving 100 and you having a bad day, guess what? I'm taking up that slack and we're going to keep on going. We ain't slowing down. We ain't missing no bumps. And then the vice versa. And so it's so important. It's so important that we understand that what God said, two are better than one. We have to. As a man, we have to understand that we can't reach our full potential without the rib that God took from us at the beginning. And women, we have to realize that y'all can't be complete until y'all are the rib to a man's, you're a rib to a man's womb, his opening. God cut him open. You got to put the meat rib back in the chest. You see what I'm saying? So that's important. We need each other. We're not going to all this black love bashing, men versus women, man. Forget all that, man. Y'all can let social media have y'all lonely with 15 cats and 15 dogs and 15 hamsters and gerbils. I'm telling you, don't get lost in the sauce now. Don't get lost in that sauce, man. Every day is something. Man, I don't see how y'all keep up with the trends. I do my podcast and I get off, big dog. That's all I have to do sometimes, man. It be too much going on. All of it just distractions. That's all it is. JG3, appreciate you tapping in, showing love, big dog. I appreciate it. TikTok, Facebook. Tonight's conversation is about staying in control. Staying in control of your life, no matter what's going on with its relationships, career, family, whatever it is. Stay in control. Understand what's the reason. You have to heal your childhood wounds in order to establish that spiritual foundation with seek ye the kingdom of God, in order to be able to stay in control and not get bamboozled and hoodwinked and led astray. We got to use our wisdom and discernment, man. Because you see what's going on. Like I said, y'all see what's going on in the world, man. Y'all see what's going on. Y'all see what's going on. And there's no point of sitting here and you know, man, you got to be your own light. You got to stay in control. You got to be able to control your destiny. You got to be able to set your family up for success, because it's not getting any better. It's not. It's not. So it's best to stay in control. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. That's what the wise man once told me. He told me also, once you've done all you can do, that's all you can do. What you said, JG? Trying to find fish who flows in it flow. Right. Trying to find fish who's going to flow with any flow. Yeah, you can't flow with any flow. Because sometimes you might have to do the side stroke. You know, might have to do the back stroke. Sometimes you got to do the, you know what I'm saying? You never know. You got to flow with the water. Like Bruce Lee said, be like water. Roll with the punches of life. Just flow. How life goes, you adjust and you keep on going. Right. But yeah, it's all about discipline and control. Discipline is control in action. That's all discipline is. Discipline is control in action. When everything feels off, you still have to show up. You still have to execute. You still have to stay aligned with what you said. Hey, this is what I'm trying to do. This is my goal. And I've been mastering my mornings, and I've been doing it consistently for a while now. Meditating, working out, you know, start my life off, controlling my day. Even though if I work night shift, hey, still got to do what I got to do. Hey, get up, get my day started, get the blood flowing, you know. And it gives you clarity. Early morning, coffee, meditation, listening to high vibration music, working out, spending time with your loved ones, like all of that stuff like that, man, that's the time when you get the most clarity. When you have peace, you have solitude. It's so important with that. Solitude is very important. Be like water, wind, homie. You were right. Right, you got to be like water and you got to flow. You don't know what life is going to do. That's what I say. You can do an action, but you can't control the outcome of what's going to happen after you perform that action. You don't know. But discipline is controlling action. When everything feels off, you still got to show up. You still got to execute. You still got to stay aligned. I say this all. I was just saying this earlier today to one of my homeboys. He worked on another shift. I was like, I know when I've been through everything in my life and flowed through a lot of good and bad times, the only thing that stayed consistent in my life was God God in my job, I promise you. Because no matter what's going on, my boy, I got to go to work. Hey, listen, I'll cry with the fresh edge up in the fresh pair of J's, baby. I'm still going to work. Heartbroken and all. Still going in there, staying in control. Sliding down the wall like Mary J. Blige, but hey, I'm going to work. But yeah, you got to stay in control, man. We have to. Because if you be able to still show up, execute, stay aligned, stay focused, process it, and still keep going and not miss a mark. You're showing up for your kids, you're showing up for your job, you're showing up for your family, no matter what you got going on. That's real power. That's real sure will. That's a good impact. If you don't rise to the occasion, you basically will fall. You will fail your level of your discipline. And what I mean by that is in situations you're going to pray for patience, right? So you're going to be tested to gain patience. The things that's going to require patience. You praying for financial increase. You're going to be tested with situations where see if you can manage to increase your finances. You're going to be tested when you ask for, discernment. You're going to be in the lines then trying to discern, hey, use my discernment, listen to me, this is what you need to do to get out. Like all of these things come with tests. Everything comes with a challenge. Everything comes with a experience. Everything comes with a lesson. So don't look at the cup half empty. Look at the cup half full. Because if you look at the cup half empty, you'll be like, I'm always taking L's. But if you look at the cup half full, you'll realize that everything you go through in life is a W. Even a lesson, you still gain something. You're gaining. You can't fail. Even if you make the wrong decision, what? You know now what? You learned a lesson. I can't do that no more, so that's a W. You know how to move now. You add that to your repertoire and your defense. You see what I'm saying? That's what I said. Like, we're having experiences. This is an experience. So we have to understand. Observe, don't absorb. When you observe, you're able to understand that all things come to an end. All things flow. What's meant to be is going to be. And we're going to flow. You're going to flow with water. You're going to be like, okay, this is what I need to do. You already know, no matter what decision you make, it's going to be a positive and negative connotation to everything you do. Like I said in the Bible, every time I try to do right, what evil is always present. So that means every decision I make and I'm moving my feet in the right direction, it's always going to be something that happens. But a lot of times we get it confused because we feel like once we get to that next level of life, we're not going to experience any tragedy or anything like that. No, it's new levels, new devils. Like, that's a real thing. You're going to have new challenges when you reach to that next level. So you have to be able to be prepared because the lessons that you learned from before you get to that point, before you came through your awakening and your alignment with God, it's not going to apply to this new space. But the lessons you learned, hey, this is what you need to look out for. Boom, okay, you're stronger now. So you can handle it head on now. And we have to realize that. Research for yourself. Don't listen. Don't take anything when nobody says face value. Always research for yourself. Do your research. And just be careful what you research, because just be careful what you research. If you know, you know. Just be careful with your research. It's all of it just, it leads you in the circle. You have going around in circles. There's a lot of misinformation, But I'm going to leave you with this. The real flex isn't controlling everything around you. It's controlling yourself when everything around you is out of order. Let me say that again. The real flex isn't controlling things around you. It's been able to control you, to keep yourself cool, calm, and collected like a cucumber, like a cereal person. You gotta be careful what you say on here now, y'all. A cereal person. Like, you cool, calm, and collected like a cucumber no matter what's going on. You ice cold. You ice cold. Nothing phases you, focused. And that's what it's all about. That's what you have to realize. So it's not controlling everything around you. It's being able to stay cool, calm, and collected under amounts of pressure. Right. Wordplay. Yeah. You got to be able to be cool up under amounts of pressure because you got to think about it. That's how diamonds are formed. Diamonds are formed on unimaginable amounts of pressure. So what you going to do? You're going to barbecue a mildew. Pressure makes diamonds. Either two things going to happen. Either going to make a diamond or it's going to bust a pipe. That's what I always said. Hey, pressure can make a diamond or it's going to bust a pipe. Nothing outside of you can control your life. Because I know we've been told that, hey, everything is external when everything is really in here. Like I said, God gave you everything that you needed to succeed and be what you wanted to be in life. All you have to do is align with him and tap into your purpose. And everything else will make sense. But it's all about your relationship with God. Please seek the kingdom of God first. It's always the best thing to do. I'm telling you. But I appreciate y'all showing love. Episode 57 of Juice Word Podcast, Stay in Control, Season 2. Hey, deeper conversations. Hey, if it's your first time tapping in, y'all can take a backtrack. Go tap into all my other social media platforms and see my journey from where I started to where I am now. This is Season 2. Man, listen, Season 2 almost over, man. This year flying by, and it's almost half through the year. We on Season 3 soon, y'all. But like I said, I appreciate y'all love. I appreciate y'all support. Be a light in this world, man. There's so much negativity going on. They get lost in the sauce. You can stay ready. You ain't got to get ready, all right? Peace, love. Y'all have a blessed night out there. Y'all get ready. Y'all got to be working in the morning. Hey, y'all be safe on that road, all right? Love y'all. Y'all be easy out there. All right, Facebook.